English Podcast Official, hosted by Raam
And you're Sia.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the English Podcast Official. My name is Raam.
And I'm Sia. We are so happy you're here to explore another fascinating question with us.
Sia, I have a confession to make.
Oh, this sounds interesting. What is it?
Even as a native English speaker, sometimes I am completely confused by my own language.
Thank you for saying that. I think every single person learning English just breathed a huge sigh of relief.
I'm sure of it, because we can all feel it. There's a certain weirdness to English.
I have a very clear memory from my own learning journey. I was trying to understand a group of words, and my brain just could not accept the logic.
What were the words?
The words were though, through, tough, bow, and cough.
Ah, yes, the infamous OUGH spelling. A nightmare.
They all look so similar, but they all sound completely different. I remember thinking, this can't be right. I must be missing a rule.
And that is the exact feeling almost every learner has. You look for a rule, a logical pattern, and you can't find one.
It can make you feel like you're bad at the language, that you're the one who is failing to understand.
But what if the problem isn't you? What if the problem is the language itself, or rather, its history?
What do you mean?
I had a moment when I stopped seeing English as one single pure language. I started to see it as more of a linguistic collage.
A collage, like different pictures all glued together to make a new one.
Exactly. Or like a friendly thief that has wandered through history, taking words from dozens of other languages and putting them all in one big, messy, beautiful bag.
So the weirdness isn't a mistake. It's actually the history of the language made visible.
That is the perfect way to put it. And understanding that history doesn't just make you a better learner, it makes you a more forgiving and confident one.
It helps you realize that you're not going crazy. The language really is that strange, and knowing why is so empowering.
So, today we are going on a historical adventure to find out why English is the way it is. We are going to explore the invasions, the stubborn spellings, and the borrowed words that make it so unique.
Join us as we answer the question that every learner has asked. Why is English so weird?
A brief, thoughtful musical sting plays.
Okay, Ram, so if we want to understand why English is so strange today, where do we have to start our story?
We have to start over 1,500 years ago in Britain. The language that would become English was first brought there by Germanic tribes.
So the foundation, the very base of the house, is Germanic. This is Old English.
Exactly. And our first reason for the weirdness is what I call the invasion cocktail. English was not left alone to grow peacefully. It was invaded, repeatedly.
So it's like a house that was built by one family, but then another family moved in and started building new rooms.
A perfect analogy. First, the Vikings invaded, bringing their language Old Norse. Old Norse and Old English were similar, so they mixed together.
So you have two related families living in the same house, sharing words.
Yes, the original English had simple words like house and woman, but the Vikings gave us thousands of common words we use every single day, like sky, skin, leg, egg, and even the word they.
I had no idea sky came from the Vikings. So that's the first layer of complexity. What happened next?
Next came the big one, the Norman conquest of 1066. William the Conqueror invaded from France, and for the next 300 years, the entire ruling class of England, the government, the courts, the fancy kitchens, all spoke French.
So now a third very rich and powerful family has moved into the house, and they've redecorated everything with luxurious French furniture.
Exactly. And this is why we have so many pairs of words in English. The common people, the farmers, kept using the simple Old English words.
Like cow, pig, and sheep.
But the French-speaking ruling class, who were the ones eating the meat in their castles, gave us the words beef, pork, and mutton.
Wow, so the animal in the field has a Germanic name, but the food on the plate has a French name. That's fascinating.
This happened across the language. We have Germanic words like ask and French words like inquire, freedom, and liberty. This historical layering is reason number one for our rich but very inconsistent vocabulary.
That makes so much sense, but it doesn't explain my problem with though and tough. That feels like a spelling and pronunciation issue.
You are right. And that brings us to our second and possibly weirdest reason, a huge historical event called the Great Vowel Shift.
The Great Vowel Shift? That sounds very dramatic.
It was. Between about 1400 and 1700, English speakers all across England collectively decided to change how they pronounced their long vowels.
What do you mean?
Well, back in the time of Chaucer, the word we say as mouse would have been pronounced more like moose, and the word goose would have been said more like gose.
So everybody's mouths literally shifted the way they made sounds. But wait.
Here comes the weird part.
So you're telling me everyone decided to say words completely differently, but nobody thought to update the spelling to match the new sounds?
For the most part, they didn't. The spelling was already becoming standardized, especially after the printing press was invented.
So our spelling today is often a picture of how English was pronounced 500 or 600 years ago.
Exactly. That's a huge reason for the chaos. It's why food, good, and blood don't rhyme. It's why we have so many silent letters like the K in night or the GH in light, which were actually pronounced back then.
So it's not that I'm bad at spelling, it's that I'm trying to apply modern logic to a historical photograph of a language.
You've got it. We are speaking 21st century English with 15th century spelling software.
Okay, so we have a mix of languages from invasions and a huge shift in pronunciation. What else is in this weirdness recipe? So before printing, everyone just spelled words how they wanted to, based on their local dialect?
For the most part, yes. But when William Caxton set up the first printing press in England in 1476, he had to make choices.
So he had to decide on one official spelling for each word to put in his books?
Yes, and he was based in London, so he often chose the spelling and dialect of the London area, which was the center of commerce and government.
So some of the spellings we struggle with today are because of the personal choices of a few printers in London more than 500 years ago?
Partly, yes. And some of those printers were paid by the line, so they would sometimes add extra, unnecessary letters to words to make the line longer and get paid more.
You're joking! So weird spelling is sometimes just the result of a 15th century billing issue?
It's a strange but true part of the story. The printing press helped to freeze spelling at a time when pronunciation was still changing, and the choices were sometimes arbitrary.
This all makes me wonder, who is actually in charge of English? Who makes the rules?
That is the perfect question, and it leads to our fifth and final reason for the weirdness.
Let me guess, no one?
You got it. Reason 5. English has no official academy or a no-rules committee.
What do you mean by an academy?
Well, a language like French has the Académie Française. Spain has the Real Academia Española. These are official governing bodies that make decisions about the language. They vote on new words and grammar rules.
And English has nothing like that at all?
Nope, there is no single authority that says what is correct English. The closest we have are influential dictionaries, like the Oxford English Dictionary, but they only describe how the language is being used. They don't prescribe how it should be used.
So in a way, English is more democratic and chaotic. It evolves from the bottom up.
It's a language of the people. A new word becomes official simply because enough people start using it. It's incredibly flexible and adaptable.
But it also means it can be messy, inconsistent, and confusing. It's the price we pay for that flexibility.
It is. It's a wild and wonderful language. And speaking of words, this topic has been full of fascinating ones.
It certainly has, which makes it the perfect time to bring in our vocabulary strategist, Maruti, to help us decode some of this linguistic history.
Thank you, Raam and Sia. Hello, curious learners. To understand the story of English, we must understand the words used to tell that story. Let's analyze 10 key terms. Etymology, meaning. The study of the origin of words and the way in which their meanings have changed throughout history. Example, the etymology of a word can reveal a fascinating story. Cognate, meaning, a word that has the same origin as a word in a different language. Example, the English word night and the German word Nacht are cognates. Loanword, meaning, a word that is taken from another language and used as part of your own language. Example, karaoke is a popular loan word from Japanese. Archaic, meaning, very old or old-fashioned and no longer in everyday use. Example, the spelling K-N-I-G-H-T reflects an archaic pronunciation. Dialect, meaning, a form of a language that is spoken in a particular part of a country or by a particular group. Example, early printers often chose the London dialect as the standard. Lingua franca, meaning, a common language used for communication between people who do not share a native language. Example, English has become the modern lingua franca for business and science. Inconsistent, meaning, not staying the same in quality or behavior, containing elements that contradict each other. Example, learners are often frustrated by inconsistent spelling rules. Phonetic, meaning, using symbols to represent the sounds of speech in a consistent way. Example, unlike many languages, English spelling is often not phonetic. Infusion, meaning, the introduction of a new element or quality into something. Example, the Norman conquest led to a massive infusion of French words. Standardization, meaning, the process of making things of one type all have the same basic features. Example, the printing press helped the standardization of English spelling. This vocabulary gives you the power to describe your own language learning journey. Now, back to you.
Thank you, Maruti. Understanding those terms makes the whole story so much clearer.
It really does. And before we go, we want to leave you with one final thought to help you reframe your relationship with this weird and wonderful language.
We've talked a lot today about how the problems in English are not your fault. They are part of its long, messy history. So our reflection prompt for you is this. Think of one weird English word or rule that has always confused you. Now that you know English is a historical collage, how does that change your feeling about it? Does it feel less like a mistake and more like a piece of history?
It's a small shift in perspective, but it can turn frustration into curiosity. And curiosity is a much better fuel for learning.
So why is English so weird? It's because it is a living history book. It's a mix of languages, a product of invasions, and a reflection of centuries of change.
Its weirdness is not a flaw, it's its character. It's a sign of a language that has always been open, flexible, and connected to the entire world.
So the next time you get frustrated, remember you're not just learning a language, you're learning a story.
I like to think of the English language as a big old rambling city. It wasn't built on a neat logical grid. It grew over centuries.
Exactly. And there are ancient stone roads from its Germanic roots right next to elegant French boulevards.
And there are strange, narrow alleyways that don't make sense, are irregular verbs, and modern skyscrapers of new words from technology. At first, this city is confusing to navigate, but once you stop trying to find a perfect map and just start exploring, you discover its beauty. Learning English isn't about memorizing rules, it's about enjoying the adventure of exploring this incredible historical city.
A perfect way to see it. Thank you for exploring the city with us today on the English Podcast Official.
Until next time, be patient with the language and be patient with yourself.